Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to Chicago Carl. You saw from the title of the video, I'm bringing you our official Sweet 16 aka March Madness Week 2 preview, predictions, and analysis. We're also going to be putting out videos for every individual Sweet 16 game coming up, so be sure to check those out if you'd like to after this. Before we start though, make sure to check us out on Instagram at chicagocarl.yt. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at chicagocarl. You can be sure to leave a like and subscribe on this video, as well as drop a comment down below telling me what you think of the March Madness action so far. What team are you rooting for? Who do you think is going to win it all this year? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. We can have a discussion down below. So to start Sweet 16, we're going to start with the South region. First game, we're going to have the number 1 seeded Baylor taking on Villanova. Baylor, fresh off of a round 64 win against Hartford, and they won in the round of 32 against Wisconsin. Wisconsin was off of a win against UNC. For this game, we're taking Baylor. We think Baylor's going to move on to the Elite Eight. I don't see how in any way that Villanova, a team that has had a bit of a down year, they still have their coach. They still have a very well coached team, and they still have a very tight knit team. I just don't see how this team powers past Baylor. Villanova struggled to kind of get past Winthrop. They only won that game by 10. They didn't blow UNT out of the water. And Baylor was a team that came in, handled their business against Hartford. Came in, handled their business against a good Wisconsin team. I think that doesn't change here. They're the 1 seed for a reason. They took the Big 12 by storm this year. I think Baylor just steamrolls past Villanova and makes an Elite 8 push. So you heard that here first. Baylor, Elite 8. That's our prediction. Second game in the South region, we have the number 3 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks, fresh off of a win against Texas Tech, taking on everyone's favorite Cinderella team. We have Oral Roberts University. Obviously, Oral Roberts, as all of you know, came off of a tumultuous win against the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, and is fresh off of a win against the number 7 Florida Gators. Oral Roberts goes into this game okay, hot. They're hot. Arkansas, on the other hand, got past Colgate, even though they struggled in the first half, and edged out Texas Tech, but not by much. I think the Oral Roberts Cinderella run stops here. There's a reason a 15 seed has never made it to the Elite 8. There's a reason Florida Gulf Coast couldn't do it in 2013. There's a reason Oral Roberts can't do it now. When you get this far in the tournament and you play teams like Arkansas, it's hard to win games with the ranking you have, okay? Oral Roberts' bench just is not deep enough to handle a team like Arkansas, who can turn to so many guys, who can turn to an aggressive offense, and who can just produce at a higher rate. They just play better basketball, just at a higher rate of productivity. So for that reason alone, I just think there's no way a 15 seed gets past a 3 seed, regardless of who the teams actually are. Arkansas is going to move on. We're going to see a Baylor and Arkansas matchup in that South region for the Elite 8. Going down to the Midwest region, we have my favorite team currently in the tournament, and I guess they're going to be my team now after Illinois got out. We have Loyola. Loyola was the 8th seed, very underseeded in the Midwest region. Like we said, fresh off of a win against Georgia Tech in the opening round, and fresh off of a huge upset against the number 1 ranked Illinois Illini. They're going to go in and face another team that has been a Cinderella story, the Oregon State Beavers. Oregon State off of 2 fresh upsets, one against the Tennessee Volunteers and another against Cade Cunningham and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Oregon State, 12th ranked in the Midwest region. This team, I don't think, is underseeded. To be honest, I just think they just got hot and they're starting to play team basketball and they're coming together just a little too late. But I think Loyola, listen, they have Sister Jean on their side. They have the man, Cameron Krutwig, who doesn't look like an athlete at all, but plays like an absolute star. They have Lucas Williamson, who they can turn to drop points and drive whenever they want to. Because Loyola's offense is ran through guys like Krutwig, and they have guys like Williamson who are able to make baseline drives and push for layups and transitions and whatnot, they're going to just outscore Oregon State, and I think really outdefend Oregon State. I mean, Cameron Krutwig, I think, had like 7 steals against Illinois, something unreal. I mean, seriously, there's just no way that Oregon State can get past the Sister Jeans here. Loyola moves on, Elite 8. After here, I don't have much to say about this. We have an upset prediction here. The number 11 Syracuse Orange take on the number 2 Houston Cougars. A lot of people aren't talking about Houston, and I think there's a good reason for this. Houston, in my opinion, is just so overseeded. There is no way that this team deserves to have the 2 seed. They don't play teams like Syracuse does night in and night out. Syracuse in the ACC, they're playing great competition every single day. They're playing teams like UNC. They're playing teams like, Clemson, Florida State, South Carolina. They're playing teams like that, like Georgia Tech, who are just outstanding opponents to face every single night in and night out. That's going to give some wear on your team. And Syracuse is just, I think, conditioned to perform here. I mean, Syracuse is a team that's fresh off of an upset against San Diego State. But regardless, and this wasn't even talked about that much, Cuse rolled through Coach Huggins and West Virginia, smacked them around. Houston, on the other hand, they are fresh off of a win against Rutgers, and they're fresh off of a win against number 15 Clemson. But I don't think Houston has the firepower to compete with Cuse. Cuse is coached by Coach Jim Boeheim. Obviously, Buddy Boeheim, who is, the best player on Syracuse. He's the only coach's kid who has actually shown out that I've seen ever, really, in all my years of following sports. There's no way that Houston blows past Syracuse here. I don't care that they're the 2 seed. The Midwest is the region of Cinderella stories. They are the region for upsets. Cuse moves on. We're going to see Syracuse Loyola Elite 8. It will be electric. After that, we move to the West region. We have 2 games here. The number 1 ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs, 28-0 so far, will be taking on Coach McDermott and the Creighton Blue Jays out of the Big East. Creighton has looked actually better than I thought they would have looked. They did defeat UCSB by only 1 point, but the UCSB team was a quality basketball team. They got past Ohio, who had an off game, especially since they were red hot against Virginia. I just think, regardless, Creighton could have blown Ohio out of the water. My prediction wouldn't have changed here. I think Gonzaga is deadly. Guys like Timmy, guys like Jalen Suggs. Are you serious? Their offense is great. They move the ball quickly. They get rebounds. They out-hustle everybody. They shoot efficiently. They pass the ball well. Everything you can say about this Gonzaga team has been said, really. There's no way Creighton beats them. They're the 1 seed for a reason. I look at this matchup similar to sort of Baylor and Nova. I just think that, Gonzaga moves on. Gonzaga's going to have another berth to an Elite 8 game. After that, we have 2 upset teams facing off against each other. We have the number 6 ranked USC Trojans taking on the number 7 ranked Oregon Ducks. USC off of a good win against the Drake Bulldogs, which I thought initially Drake was one of the more underrated teams in this tournament. USC also is fresh off of a win last night against number 3 Kansas. That was a pretty big upset considering they beat them by like 24 points, something crazy. Oregon, on the other hand, fresh off of a win against Iowa. That was the first game of the tournament. They didn't play against VCU. So Oregon's going to face USC. We're going to have a Pac-12 matchup for the ages. This game, we're taking Oregon. I saw both of these teams play. Oregon is such a more efficient and stronger team compared to USC. Oregon moves the ball quickly. They have tons of shooters they can turn to at any time. They have big men who can be aggressive under the rim. They handled their way against Iowa and Luka Garza. And if they can do that, I think there's no reason why they can't handle their way against the Mobley brothers in USC. I think we're going to see Oregon take Gonzaga in the Elite 8. That will be another game that I think will just be insane. Moving down, final region, we have the East region. Today we have Michigan taking on the Florida State Seminoles. Michigan, the only Big Ten team remaining. They're fresh off of wins against Texas Southern and LSU. Florida State coming off of wins against, they had a win against UNC Greensboro and a win against Colorado. We incorrectly predict that. We thought Colorado was going to win that game, but we rest our case. Florida State taking on Michigan. Michigan has guys like Hunter Dickinson, has guys that they can turn to at any moment to put up shots. They are deadly. They have great guards. They move the ball quickly. They're very well coached. Michigan, in my opinion, is going to storm past this Florida State team. I don't think this Florida State team has too much upside, to be quite frank with you. There's nothing here that really jumps out to me when I look at their roster and their stats. They competed fairly well against the ACC competition that they faced, but a lot of people really don't think that this Florida team is as good as the other teams in this tournament, and I side with those people. Michigan moves on. Michigan Elite 8. No surprise to anybody. After that, we have the number 11 UCLA Bruins taking on the number 2 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. UCLA is the least talked about Cinderella team in this tournament. I mean, seriously, fresh off of a great win, a play-in game against the Michigan State Spartans in which they won. Then they move on to beat BYU, a team a lot of people were very excited to see go far in this tournament. And again, they managed to beat the number 13 ranked Abilene Christian University Wildcats, who are fresh off of a huge win against Texas. Obviously not fresh off of anything now, they're going home. But UCLA, oh my goodness, this team is performing out of their mind. Guys like Jaquez, they have great guards who can move the ball quickly. UCLA is going in this game hot. That's simple. But that being said, they're facing an Alabama team that demolished Iona, demolished Maryland, an Alabama team that is probably the least talked about great team in this tournament. I mean, I really think, honestly, Alabama's a top 5 team in this tournament. You can even make the case for top 4. I think this Alabama team is insanely good. I think they brush past the hot UCLA. I see no reason why they don't. I think we're going to see a great Elite 8 matchup. Bama, Michigan, be there for that game. That will be great. So yeah, that's all I got for the predictions today. Just to give you a quick review before the video ends. Baylor is going to beat Villanova. We have Arkansas beating Oral Roberts. We have Loyola beating Oregon State. We have Syracuse upsetting the number 2 ranked Houston Cougars. We have Gonzaga beating the Creighton Blue Jays. We have Oregon beating the USC Trojans. We have Michigan beating the Florida State Seminoles. And we have Alabama defeating the UCLA Bruins. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. You can check us out on Twitter at ChicagoKarl. Check us out on Instagram at ChicagoKarl.yt. Drop a comment down below telling me what you think of tournament action so far. Have a nice day. Be safe. I'm out.